Hi, so in the background you've got the Dreadnought battle from The Last Jedi, which involves the bomber scene, where the bomber drops a payload of bombs onto a Dreadnought and destroys it. Now, this is one of the most controversial scenes from Star Wars legacy, all the Star Wars movies, and it's because many accused it of kind of like ignoring the concept of physics and general space, where there's no gravity, and the bomber operating the dropping the bombs is also able to operate in space with with oxygen. So it's a very controversial scene, and many people thought it went against some of the laws of Star Wars and made it a bit implausible. So I just want to cover why it was used, and my personal opinion is that it's because Rian Johnson was just very lazy. It's based on the concept of laziness, and I'm going to just explain why. Now, if you'd like to watch this full scene, I'll leave a link below so you can watch it all the way through. But I haven't used any sound because I don't want to use someone's content and sound in my video. But I will leave a link in the description below. But I'm just going to explain why Rian Johnson used this based on the concept of through laziness. Now, the reason why I'm accusing Rian Johnson of laziness is because both Rian Johnson and everyone else knows that George Lucas used elements of wars from the past as huge influence behind Star Wars. So George Lucas used elements such as World War II, the Holocaust, Vietnam, and also some elements from the Roman Empire, how they proceeded with their wars and their political structures to influence the stories behind Star Wars. So Rian Johnson knew that George Lucas used World War II to influence Star Wars. So what Rian Johnson did, he went and researched World War II. Now, one of the most crucial factors of World War II was the bombing. For example, this photo is from Dresden, which was almost completely obliterated by bombers from Britain and also from Russia, I believe, but certainly from Britain. It was the most bombed city throughout World War II. So Rian Johnson kind of identified that there was a huge process of carpet bombing. Now, I believe he's lazy because I don't understand why he included it in a Star Wars movie the way he did. And it's kind of like forced it or crowbarred it into the movie in a kind of lazy way. The reason is that the bombers were quite ineffective because there appeared to be about 7 or 8 bombers to begin with, and only one of them finished, or only one of them dropped its payload. So the actual usage of bombers is highly ineffective. So the question is, why did the Resistance have bombers? If they're really ineffective weapons, or why use an ineffective weapon like these bombers? Rian Johnson hasn't answered that. Secondly, why did they have this process of dropping a large quantity of bombs when, if you watch the movie, the bombs land in a single space? So you've got the bombs dropping on one single area. Sort of contravenes the idea of dropping a bomb. What I mean is, why didn't you just use one large, huge bomb and drop one huge bomb on one certain area? Because that's what's happened here. All these small bombs dropped onto one large area. So why use all these small bombs? Because if you think about it, the amount of time spent having to produce and apply all these bombs to this bomber must have been highly ineffective. The weapon can be destroyed quite easily, it appears, if you watch the film. Only one bomber survived. Applying the bombs is also time consuming and very ineffective. If it was based on a quality resistance or a logical resistance, they would use some sort of laser. So in the Star Wars, where they have lasers, which they obviously didn't have in World War II, they could have had some sort of device that fired a single laser on top of the Dreadnought and destroyed the Dreadnought. He's been lazy and he's looked at World War II and he's copied what happened to Dresden, where many single bombs were dropped on Dresden because that's the only way that the bombers in World War II could carry lots of single small bombs. So he hasn't really applied any sort of logic and updated it to the Star Wars. So the whole technology that's used in Star Wars has been pushed to one side because of Rian Johnson's laziness. And he's just thought, right, I'm going to use World War II. I'm not going to apply any real logic. So the whole usage, this scene seems really ineffective. And that's what I'm really annoyed about. There is an argument of whether it's scientifically conceivable, whether the physics could be used in space. But the idea, what about the basic concept of why did he use this scene? Why did he use this carpet bombing process of these small bomb pellets when he could have used a large single bomb? Or why didn't he use a laser? Instead, he was lazy. He just reverted back to what George Lucas had introduced, which had influenced World War II. Now, George Lucas used extreme or very sophisticated influences from World War II in a very clever and intelligent way, and that's one of the real appeals of Star Wars is the real politics and the real intelligence behind it. Whereas Rian Johnson just used it in a really lazy and uninspiring way that makes it look quite silly and very ineffective. So I just want to perhaps expose this and get it across to you about how lazy Rian Johnson was in creating this scene. So thank you for watching, and leave your comments below. If you disagree, please by all means leave your comments below, and thank you for watching.